Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll talk to a true visionary. He was way out in front of the telemedicine craze. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I got to tell you, when my next guest got into telemedicine, it seemed very futuristic. In fact, there were a lot of naysayers. No, people were always going to want to be face-to-face with their doctor in person. And then came COVID-19, and he truly does look like a visionary. Rey Colon is my guest. He is with MyTelemedicine. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
Well, let's start with the beginning, because you had a company before this.
Yes, you know, back in 2008, we started a company called AmeriDoc. It was a telemedicine services, mostly direct to consumer. And we provided consumers with the ability of consulting with doctors by telephone for advice. And this was right at the beginning of video becoming pretty popular. YouTube was like kind of the hot thing now. So we got on early, and it was an exciting ride during that time.
And did you have a lot of people saying, no, this will never work?
Absolutely. With our service, you know, we had to go after physicians, and physicians were really the drivers of communicating with our patients. So when we were out there talking to doctors and telling them about our services, many of them felt this wasn't legal, could this really be done? And we had a lot of pushback.
Okay, so MyTelemedicine comes along in 2015.
Correct.
Okay, talk about what the pandemic has meant to your business.
Wow, so when we started 2015 MyTelemedicine, it's very funny. One of the things that we often say is, when the paradigm shift comes, we always knew that one day it would come, and you better believe in early 2020, it did come. We were put on a quarantine, we had to stay inside, and there was even times where political heads were saying that we should use telehealth as a primary source of seeing our physicians.
Yes. We've got an article from the paper that we're going to put up on the screen, because you have gotten a lot of accolades from the media for your vision. Is it rewarding to have all of these people who once were doubters come along and say, man, you really had it right?
Absolutely. You know, many physicians early on that were very hesitant called us back and wanting to join. Not only did they want to join our network, but they also wanted to offer telemedicine or telehealth solutions to their patients as well. So it was really exciting to see the market finally adopt and realize the value of telemedicine and telehealth, especially since we live by our phones.
Yes. We found a great video that I think does a great job kind of giving an overview of your company. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
My schedule is pretty hectic. I usually get to work pretty early. I'm usually working probably about a good 9 to 10 hours a day. And I try to make sure that I eat good. I tend to work out, and that helps relieve a lot of stress, but eventually I end up getting sick at least 4 times a year with ear infections. I was on a conference call one time at my job, and my ear was killing me. And I used to have to reschedule a lot of meetings to go to the doctors, which could put my job in jeopardy if I'm constantly calling out. So when I found out that my job offered a solution that I can just call a doctor over the phone and get the same medication I would in a doctor's office, that really works for my type of, hectic schedule. So I just took a break. I called MyTelemedicine. I did not have to leave. I did not have to use my sick time. Then for my lunch, I picked up the medication, had the medication, and it was great. Not using my sick time allows me to be able to have more time when I absolutely need it, when it's something more serious than just antibiotics for an ear infection. I would highly recommend MyTelemedicine because it's very convenient. The customer service is great. It's just the regular cold, sinus infections, those type of things could be easily described to the doctor on the phone. You can send them pictures if you hurt yourself. The doctors from MyTelemedicine, they're very thorough in their responses. They're very specific with the actions that we need to take to make sure that we follow through with the medication, any side effects that it may have. So it's very good. As a busy mom, telemedicine has been great. With the technology now where you can just call on your iPhone, a very good benefit for the family and for anybody that's busy and working hard. I'm so glad MyTelemedicine was there when I needed it.
So one of the things I love about you, Rey, is that you're not satisfied with just the status quo, and you're always inventing and reinventing. I want you to set up for me this next clip that we're going to run. It's a new product, is that right?
Correct, yes. The new product, you know, once the pandemic hit, we really started to realize that the market for individual providers, whether you're a therapist, whether you have a family practice, you're going to want to see your patients because you were quarantining, right? If I don't need to see you, but I can still fully service you leveraging video technology, we wanted to power that. And by that time, MyTelemedicine already serviced over 200,000 consultations. Wow. So we felt we have a tried and tested solution, and we built Zeally Health, which is a software platform that we were able to build out instantly once COVID hit, and then offer it to hospitals and practices so that way they can see their patients remotely. They can manage their personal medical records through the platform, and also e-prescribe directly to the pharmacy of their choice. And that was through our program called Zeally Health.
Outstanding. And here's a clip that explains that.
Give your patients virtual care when they need it most with Zeally Health. Zeally simulates the quality of an in-office visit without the office. Safe, convenient, fast, and easy. Patients receive notifications when the doctor is ready. That means no more waiting rooms or blank screens like with other telehealth services. If the provider or patient cannot connect via video, the doctor can call the patient directly from the platform. Zeally is HIPAA high-tech compliant and includes HD video and phone, secure electronic health records, an e-prescribe feature, and merchant processing of consult fees. Trusted by over 1.8 million patients and counting, Zeally understands your practice workflow and was built with the physician in mind. Start your 30-day free trial of Zeally today and start seeing patients now. Zeally, it's that easy.
Wow. You impress me. I don't know how you do it all. You must have 25 hours in the day because you're constantly inventing. And I want you to tell us about your latest endeavor because it goes into the world of pets.
Yeah, so of course we have a phenomenal team in-house, and everybody sees the vision, everybody sees the need and the demand. And one of the things we started to notice, me, myself being a pet owner, there was a time where it was 3 in the morning, my dog was, Gracie was having an issue, and I had to find an emergency room. And it made me realize that there is a need where pet owners just want to get advice from a licensed veterinarian in their state. And when we started to discuss this with some of our clients, we started to see the demand that more and more people wanted this. And we look at the statistics, it was showing that because of COVID, many people were adopting pets to become their family loved ones. So we built GoLexi.com, which is a service that allows consumers to consult with a doctor, a veterinarian licensed in their state, for advice and guidance and even behavioral related issues with their pet.
Wow, and I think it's absolutely brilliant because, as we all know, some people will actually spend money on their pets they would never spend on themselves.
Absolutely. You know, they're like our kids.
Yeah, yeah. So what's been the reaction to GoLexi.com so far?
Wow, so we just rolled it out last week. We've been getting a lot of great press. A lot of our clients are already reaching out as and that's exactly what we want. We wanted people to know that it's here. We already talked with some pet insurance companies that want to embed this into their pet program.
Yes.
So it's really exciting to see the market just really grab to realizing that not only can we care for ourselves virtually, but we can also care for our furry friends and families as well virtually using video and phone technology.
And now that we are all acclimated to doing, Zoom meetings with our physician or a phone call with our physician, we're not going back to the old days, are we?
Correct. No, telemedicine and telehealth is here to stay. You know, what we've done is we've built a pattern, and consumers are starting to realize, wait a second, why should I have to go to the doctors every 3 months or once a month to get my blood pressure checked when I can use my smartphone, my smartwatch to be able to track this type of information? And this data is then pushed into the system via the mobile app. And now I can talk to my doctor virtually, and he can manage chronic diseases, remote patient monitoring, even e-prescribe. And you're seeing companies like Amazon now do direct-to-home prescription delivery services.
And plus, I think, you know, I always wonder when I sit there in the waiting room, you know, how well did they wash down this chair that I'm sitting in? I mean, you can get sick at a doctor's office.
Absolutely. I mean, more and more consumers are seeing this, and now with the pandemic, we're more leery of it. Before COVID, it was a big topic. You have to sit in an emergency room, you have to sit in a waiting room for hours sometimes, and with other people sitting around you. Now you get to sit at the comfort of your home, securely talk to a doctor or a veterinarian by video, and he is able to provide you the advice, guidance, and recommendations in order to properly treat you.
Outstanding. Ray, you've been a great guest. We're out of time, but we're going to leave with 2 websites. We'll start with MyTelemedicine.com as a way to get a hold of Ray and his amazing team, and then we will end with GoLexi.com for all of your pet needs. Ray, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.